I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't like theory videos. I don't know why I put it in a poll. Why'd you do that, Ruga? Why'd you put that in a poll and you don't like theory videos? There were a lot of comments in multiple of my videos asking me to make theory videos. And just out of curiosity, I put it in that poll just to see how popular of an idea this was. And while it didn't win the poll, it actually got quite a bit of votes. So I'm doing a sort of theory video, but just know I don't like it. And I'm doing this for you. The things I will do for my viewing audience. So in my mind, I'm not really thinking about this as a theory video. I'm more thinking about this as something like, how would I write the story if I was in charge of it? But I'm adding the extra challenge that I have to use things that I already know about Tekken 8. So things from the trailer and interviews from Harada and things like this. Basically, I have to take all these little pieces and piece it together and see what maybe kind of story I would make using what we know right now. And that's what this video is. So it's a theory video, sorta. Anyway. Let's get started. For one, I would make a very clear connection between Jun, Angel, and Jin. Now, let me explain. We all know that there's probably going to be some kind of flashbacks between Kazuya and Jun. Some of these are going to be relationship stuff, and that's stuff that I really want to see. However, I think it should go a little bit farther than that. I think they should actually explain past events that we didn't really get much of in the original game. For instance, in Tekken 2, we know that Devil and Angel were fighting inside of the body of Kazuya, trying to save his soul. That was stated directly by Harada. But it was also stated that Angel is not actually a part of Kazuya. She's a being that exists separate from Kazuya. That's what Harada said. So if Angel is not a part of Kazuya's soul, where does Angel come from? This is where Jun comes in. I think it would be interesting if they took Jun's purification powers and basically connected her family line to the Angels the same way that the Hajijo clan are connected to the Devil Gene. But unlike the Hajijo clan, where the Devil Gene actually puts devils inside that possess their body and take over them, the Cosmic clan more so have guardian angels that bless them. Think of it like stands almost, kinda. Jun has these purification powers and she has the abilities to control over life force and things like that, but she also has this angel that lives within her that guides her and protects her when she needs it. So basically the way I would do this backstory is, yes, have all the romance and all that kind of stuff between Kazuya and Jun, but also explain the fight between Devil and Angel. Jun was beginning to fall in love with Kazuya, but didn't know that Kazuya had a devil inside of him. The angel that was protecting Jun, which I would actually say, I think it would be better if Jun didn't even know the angel existed. Perhaps this was something that was in her family and she just wasn't aware of it. Perhaps none of the Cosmos are actually aware that they have angels living inside of them. Things like this can be tweaked. But basically what ends up happening is that Jun's guardian angel goes inside of Kazuya to face the devil in an attempt to save Kazuya's soul. Angel does this for Jun because Jun begins to fall in love with Kazuya. Devil and Angel fight within the soul of Kazuya and Angel loses. Devil kills Angel. And this is what dooms Kazuya's soul to be corrupted by Devil all the way up to Tekken 4. Because Angel is killed in Tekken 2, there is no one to protect Jun in Tekken 3 when she is eventually killed by Ogre. She's basically left defenseless after the death of Angel. And now this is where it actually starts to get pretty interesting. You see, Jin doesn't actually have a devil motif like his father Kazuya. Like if you see Devil Kazuya, he's clearly a devil. He's sort of designed like a stereotypical devil. I mean, he's fucking purple, but other than that, he's, you know, bat wings, horns, he's the devil motif. Jin doesn't have this. Jin has the motif of a fallen angel. His wings don't look like devil wings. They're black angel wings. In many, many myths, fallen angels have black wings. This is pretty popularly shown in culture. Now, if Jin was born a straight up Cosma and not related to Kazuya and the Hachijos, he would have a guardian angel just like Jun and all of the other Cosmos do with their purification powers. But because he was born of Kazuya and had the devil gene, his angel kind of came out wrong. He wasn't born with a straight up devil like Kazuya, but he wasn't born with an angel exactly like Jun either. Instead, he came out with this sort of fallen dark angel type character. So Devil Jin is not actually Devil Jin. It's actually Angel Jin, but a dark fallen version of that angel due to its corruption from the devil gene. And this revelation is what is going to be the culmination of Jin's arc in this whole story, that he's not a devil, he's not a demon. The Mishima bloodline is not cursed. His bloodline is not cursed. Deep down in his soul, he is the soul of an angel, just a very corrupted angel. And from the Tekken 8 trailer, we know that Jin's journey is going to be about redeeming himself and coming back from all of the evil things that he's done. But while we see his journey doing that throughout the story, we will also see it visually through the act of the fallen angel. I think that at some point he should unlock his Cosma purification powers and essentially purify the devil Jin within him and essentially become a more powerful version where he is like Angel Jin or like a light devil Jin. His wings will turn white and he'll get purification powers and he'll essentially be some sort of fusion between the devil gene and Angel from Tekken 2. And this will be from both his Kazuma bloodline as well as his Hajijo Mishima bloodline. This will also explain things like Claudio back in Tekken 7, saying that Devil Jin has far more potential power-wise than Devil Kazuya does, because Devil Jin is not a devil, he is an angel, and he can become more than what Devil Kazuya can. Jin's arc in the story should be about the realization of what exactly Devil Jin is, that it's not this cursed demonic entity that he needs to expel from his system, that it's actually an angel that has only ever tried to help and support Jin. But because of Jin's hatred for his family and belief that they are all cursed to be these demonic, horrible people, he has rejected this power. It's through rejecting this part of himself that he's committed the most evil acts that he could possibly commit. And his arc will be about accepting himself, every aspect of himself, including the Devil Jin. And by doing that, he will accept his role as this sort of dark hero. This will also correlate to his theme of breaking chains. On one side of Jin, you have Kazuya, who's just straight up an evil demon. And Kazuya will be there to show Jin what he could possibly be and one path he could have as this sort of evil dictator, which is a path he went down back in Tekken 6. On the other side, he has his mother Jun, and her goal in the story will be to purify the darkness out of Jin's soul, which would remove Devil Jin entirely. Jin's breaking of the chains in the story will be about him denying both his mother and father and realizing that they are both wrong. Jin is not his mother. He will never be a purely good, innocent, environment-loving, animal-loving person. He is a dark hero, and he needs to accept that part of himself. The breaking of the chains will be Jin no longer allowing his fear of what he might be to control him anymore. He will be free to act accordingly to what he believes is right, regardless of what his mother or father might think. By doing this and no longer rejecting Devil Jin, he will finally come into his own and be able to use his Devil Jin powers to the best of their ability. This is what will lead to him getting a new form and allow him to face against Kazuya on par without getting completely obliterated. Also, speaking of Jun, she should not be coming back to life. As a general pet peeve, I do not like it when characters come back from the dead. If you kill a character, keep them dead. So how do you explain Jun being in the story? Well, a couple of ways. One would be kind of going the Force Ghost route, where she is there, but she's really just there in spirit to help guide Jin and Kazuya and bring them back to the light. Another one I think would be kind of cool is that after Jun died, she actually became an angel, like Angel. So she technically didn't resurrect, but she did come back, but as this spirit with all of these cool angel powers. And she should absolutely fail in her goal. I mean, we're in agreement. That would be stupid, right? Like if she just showed up, purified Jin and Kazuya, and now they were good guys. That's a pretty lame way to tell a story. I think she should find out that Kazuya is beyond saving. At one point in the story, Kazuya was a man who was possessed by a devil, but ever since Tekken 4, he has supplanted the devil. There is no devil inside of Kazuya now. He is the devil. She should find out that by Tekken 8, Kazuya is no longer human. There is nothing to purify from his soul. His soul is a devil's soul. And while I believe she should influence Jin's arc and help him come to the realization that he should accept Devil Jin, she should fail at purifying the devil from his soul. Basically, she will help him, but not in the way she wanted to. I think Alisa should play a role in this as well. I don't think that it's a coincidence that her design in Tekken 8 looks more angelic in nature. Like her jetpack looks less like a jetpack and more like wings now. It would make sense for her character to be used as a parallel to Jin's to help guide him towards accepting himself, as well as being someone who Jin has personally wronged who can forgive him. Jin's whole thing is that he believes that he's a demon and he refuses to accept who he is. Alisa is not human. She's a robot and she was built as a weapon of war. She also had a chip in her body planted by Jin that made it so that she would be controlled by him whenever he gave an order. She also had those metaphorical chains, which she broke, and she has accepted herself for what she is, not just a weapon of war. This could be used to beautifully parallel what Jin is going through. Someone who has every reason in the world to absolutely despise him, telling him that it's okay. He believes that he was born to be evil. So having someone who was created to be a weapon of war who decided against that, telling him that it doesn't matter what he was born to be, he can make his own decisions and be the person he wants to be, can go a long way towards his character development. And in order for Jin to have a proper redemption arc, he has to come face to face with someone who he personally wronged. It doesn't mean anything for a character to redeem himself if he doesn't actually redeem himself in the eyes of the people who he's hurt. Alisa, he has hurt quite a bit, so for her to forgive him would go a very long way in making the audience feel that he's earned that redemption. I personally believe that this is why so many people are upset that Miguel is not in Tekken 8, because it would feel wrong if the story of Tekken 8 redeemed Jin without having him come face to face with someone he's hurt. But I'm not too stressed out about it because it's not like there aren't other characters in the game who they can have fill this role. Alisa being a pretty good replacement. And lastly, I think they should finally explain what the hell all the supernatural shit is all about. We're 8 games in. This series came out in 1994. They've taken longer in this series to explain the Devil Gene than One Piece has to explain devil fruits. That's saying something. Now, people may not like the explanation I'm about to give, but to me, it just makes the most sense. I think they should reveal that Tekken has absolutely no supernatural elements whatsoever, and it's all science fiction. Basically, all of these things are aliens or done by aliens. They should reveal that Ogre, Azazel, and the thing that possessed Jinpachi are all alien-based life forms. The Devil Gene is not a possession from hell, but it's actually a gene that was created by an alien, Azazel. The series from the very beginning has had sci-fi elements in it. It's essentially been a sci-fi martial arts series, with like some fantasy elements here and there, but the fantasy elements have never been explained or properly delved into. Finally explaining them and just saying that it's sci-fi, fully diving into the idea that Tekken is a science fiction martial arts series, I don't see that as a problem. It's not like I'm just pulling this shit out my asshole. We know in Tekken lore that Ogre was a biological weapon that was left on Earth by aliens. So the series already has aliens. I'm just saying to lean into it a little bit more. It's weird that that's something that you would only bring up once and never again. And for people who don't want things like aliens because they want the series to just remain a strictly martial arts series without all the superpowers and wacky shit that goes on around it, I would say it's a bit late for that. There was robots all the way back in Tekken 1. Tekken 2 had devils and angels in it. The main villain of Tekken 3, 5, and 6 are all giant monsters. Like, I just don't understand fans who make the argument that no, this is just a martial arts series. Just keep it a martial arts series. No, it's not, and no, it never has been. I mean, the two main characters of the series turn into flying demons that shoot lasers out of their face. One of the cool things about Tekken is that most of the characters use straight up real martial arts techniques, and that devotion to the realism of the martial arts will always be a selling point of Tekken. But to say that that's all it is, and that's the only thing that you like about it, kind of misses the point of the series. Yes, it will always have realistic martial arts in it, but that realistic martial arts also has all this crazy shit around it, and a large part of the fan base also enjoys that stuff too. They're not just going to ignore them. So basically, I think Jin, Kazuya, or both should learn about all this alien stuff and that all of these issues that have come up were essentially aliens coming down to fuck with Earth. Now, I don't think they should really lean into the alien stuff in Tekken 8, but they should set it up for the future. By the end of the game, Jin should realize that his grudge match with Kazuya just isn't all that important when compared to an impending alien apocalypse. Him and Kazuya will fight at the end of the game. That will be the final boss fight of the game, and Jin will win. Jin then has a decision to make at that point that will be the culmination of his arc. The choices that will be given to him will essentially be kill Kazuya or attempt to purify and redeem Kazuya. This is where the concept of Jin as a dark hero will come up, because he's going to take a more unconventional path than you might expect. He will put his grudge with Kazuya aside and choose to let Kazuya live as the devil that he currently is. With the realization that these characters have that there's actually an alien invasion coming, and that the things that have happened in the past couple of games were just the beginning, and that Earth will need all of its strongest fighters to fight against this impending doom that's going to befall all of them, he decided to keep Kazuya around, given that Kazuya is one of the strongest forces that Earth has. Not only is he one of the strongest fighters, but he's the leader of the G Corporation, and very knowledgeable when it comes to warfare. All of these things would be very useful to Earth. And this decision will not be widely accepted by anyone. It's not a wholly good decision, and it's not a wholly evil decision. It's a pragmatic decision that he is choosing because he believes that it's the best chance that Earth has is to keep Kazuya alive. This would then lead into Tekken 9 when all of Earth's warriors will be in some way involved in defending Earth from this threat that's coming. Now, what that threat is could literally be anything. I like the idea that all of the alien life forms that we've seen throughout Tekken are all different alien species that are competing with each other for universal domination. Like, for thousands of years, there have been hundreds and hundreds of alien species all fighting each other over conquering the universe, and Earth is just one of many planets that have been swept up in this war. The crazy supernatural events that have happened in Tekken over the course of the series are just small fragments of that war that have reached Earth, because as of right now, Earth sits right on the outside of that massive conflict, but the conflict is spreading and it will eventually arrive to Earth. And if you're thinking to yourself that this is just way too far away from what Tekken is, and that I'm changing up the series too much, what exactly do you want the alternative to be? Jin and Kazuya just constantly fighting each other for the next 3 games, doing the same thing over and over again with slight variations here and there? Or Jin fighting another villain of the week every game that we just don't care about, like he did in 5 and 6? Tekken currently holds the world record for the longest running video game story without a reboot. Nobody likes reboots, and I don't want a reboot, but there does need to be a shakeup in the story and how it operates. Changing the story in this direction would do quite a few things. It would explain things that need to be explained, like what the hell was Angel and where has she been since Tekken 2? What's the Devil Gene? What are all these weird creatures that keep coming to Earth? Why does Jin's devil act so differently than Kazuya's devil? And many, many other questions. It would shake up the story and give us something totally new. It would open up the universe to give us way more possible stories that we can go down in the future. It would be something that feels close enough to what Tekken was in the original saga without just feeling like a repeat of the original saga. It would allow us to keep both Jin and Kazuya alive in the story and give them a reason to want to do something that isn't just trying to kill one another. And it does it without trying to force Kazuya into being a good guy all of a sudden. Kazuya will have a legitimate reason to defend Earth, but still have his own dark purposes. Do you really think that the galaxy is going to open up to Kazuya and he's not going to want to start taking it over and fuck it up? Kazuya and Jin would have to begrudgingly team up for a couple of games, but eventually Kazuya's going to want to start taking over shit again, and Jin will have to stop him. Only now Kazuya's a much bigger threat than he was before because he's working on a galactic scale. And due to this, it would give Bamco potentially limitless options for possible stage variety that we just can't get if we're only limited to having stages take place on Earth, as well as a bunch of new cool possibilities for characters in the roster. We can have a bunch of badass and sexy alien characters show up in Tekken. I mean, damn people, I'm giving you Dragon Ball Z meets Warhammer 40k. What about that does not sound cool? But what about the Iron Fist tournament? If you start making it about this intergalactic war, the Iron Fist tournament ain't gonna matter no more. Yes, it can. You just have to change how it works. Just for example, you can have the Iron Fist tournament be something that is held every year to find strong fighters to help defend Earth. And there would be an added benefit to this. Because Jin and Kazuya are up in space fighting aliens and shit, we can have a different person winning the tournament every year. It doesn't always have to be a Mishima. This will give us an opportunity to get attached to the newcomer characters so that when they eventually do phase the Mishimas out of the story, whenever that will be, we will have other characters that have been built up by that point that can replace them. Right now, we really don't. That way, every game can keep having an Iron Fist tournament. You won't lose that. Anyway, that's my theory slash what might possibly happen in the future of Tekken. There's a bunch of other options you can have. I've thought of a couple of different things that can happen. You know, maybe Kazuya wins and kills Jin, and then it becomes like this post-apocalyptic thing where Kazuya actually succeeds in taking over the planet. And the role of hero of the story is taken over by characters like Lars and Hwoarang as they try to stop the evil dictator who has successfully taken over the planet. But no matter how many different ideas I come up with, the Dragon Ball Z meets Warhammer 40k idea just seems like the most interesting one. Not only for future story purposes, but also a future roster and stage selection. It just seems like an all-around net good. Anyway, that's gonna be all from me. Let me know what you thought about my ideas, whether you liked them, disliked them, thought they were cool, thought they were horrible. If you want to give me some of your own ideas, that's cool too. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that little bell icon, and y'all be safe out there, you hear?